Hello and welcome back to the Charles Aris Executive Search Podcast. My name is Kacey Toews. I'm a senior associate practice leader within the agriculture practice, and we're back for another episode of our Industry Uncovered series, where we dive into the world of ag tech with various industry leaders. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Nico Reinoso. Welcome, Nico.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've had the pleasure of speaking a couple of times about your company, NetZero, that you founded yourself. So do you mind giving us a quick introduction about yourself and the organization?
Yeah, no problem. Well, my background is agronomist, so I studied agronomist in Argentina, and then I dedicated my whole career into the business side of the agriculture. So I spent more like, I don't know, 27 years. Sometimes I don't want to say that, but it's more than 27 years already in the industry, helping companies and working inside the companies more, if I can summarize, in the business development part. So normally I help companies or any kind of companies from early stage to already known, companies to develop their businesses.
Awesome. And you have a very unique background having that technical side, but also that commercial side and kind of bringing it together. So that's really cool. So you've obviously seen a lot from the technical side and the commercial side. So what are the most pressing challenges currently facing your industry as you navigate through this world as a business owner?
Well, that's a very interesting question, especially now. The agriculture is really navigating in a what I call in a multiple challenge situation. Okay, so at the macro level, the context is not favorable. The costs are very high, the commodity prices are very low, and also we have these kind of consecutive climate shocks like a flood, a drought, or heat waves. That's for sure erodes yields and profitability. Add to that, let's say, the regulatory pressure, shifting consumers, expectation to sustainability. They are coming, inside more and more into the agriculture, and that uncertainty in policies, carbon markets, I don't know, biodiversity, credits too, and new technologies are created a very, very complex landscape. On the micro level, really micro, when going inside the farmers, this translates directly into their reality, into the farmer's reality. So on the ground, they are tasked with producing more food with fewer resources, and at the same time reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. And they are, all the time managing now soil degradation, water stress, climate volatility, and that is somehow very, very stressful. Okay, when you also put in the context, on top of that. And that is for sure really, really create an uncertain situation. And on top of this, with so many offer of innovation, there are so many offers and a lot of alternatives of each of those innovations, farmer feels very confused. And confusion means risk, and risk means low adoption. So for me, the real challenge is not in the science. It's more related to trust, adoption, and of course, reduction of risk. And because we have very good scientists, the science in the agriculture is very good. The pipeline, what is coming, is great. But if you don't have, let's say, if you don't build trust or if you don't reduce the risk, the adoption will not come. So they really need help, and they really need help inside their farms and not only outside.
Absolutely. You brought up a really great point of a lot of ideas, and that also makes low adoption. So what emerging trends or innovations are you most excited about personally?
I knew that question will come. Yeah. So there are plenty of things going on. Okay, I will try to focus more in the biggest, let's say, or the more trendy one. I see 5 of waves of innovation coming. The first one I can tell you is more related to biologicals and soil health technologies. Biopesticides, biofertilizers, and biostimulants are really moving into the mainstream. They are already there. Okay, the adoption is already there and it's growing. In some countries, you have better adoption than the other ones, like Brazil. But this is very, very important to mention that this market is already there. But there are coming more and more products that are going to be more efficient, let's say, and less erratic in the value they are giving to the farmers. And we are with a huge expectation of the bioherbicides that if they come, that will be a very game changer, in the market. When you are thinking about reduction cost, the biofertilizers plays a very big role, and that is something that people or farmers are really expecting. That's the first one. The second one is sustainability monetization, I call. That is more related to the carbon credit or to the regenerative sourcing or the biodiversity credits. There are coming some water credits, they believe. Those kind of contracts and ecosystem services market are very turning sustainability into a business opportunity for farmers. So when you really consider it, again, lower or low commodity prices, high cost, these kind of new revenue streams are very, very important, and we need to really pay attention. It's not massively yet, but it's going up. Okay. And the other I can tell you is the automation, robotic, and smart equipment. I can tell you that those are related to a precision spraying or drone-based spraying are, I think, the first one to make a big jump into the industry, into the adoption. The autonomous tractors are also very important. I believe they will come more into the vegetables, more a specialty market than in the row crops at the beginning. And that for sure will help to address labor shortage, of course, reduce input because you are spraying in a spot way. You are not spraying the whole land. You are just spraying where the weed is, for instance, or where the pest is. And that is very, very, very cool to see that. And that is reducing the inputs, and at the same time, it's becoming more profitable for farmers. The third one will be, let's say, genetic and seed innovation. The new CRISP technology or the advance in the CRISP technology is giving a very, very good jump into the seed industry and the biotechnology, and that will produce a very important material to not only face the yield, and increase yield. That is let's say the basic goal of the seed industry since, I don't know, as I remember, but also to create material that is more drought tolerance or pest tolerance, and that is really important for all the macro I already told you. And the fifth and last one is the digital and AI driving decision tools that everybody's talking about. That I always say those are tools. So if you don't use the tool to take decisions and to do something different, they are just a tool. Okay, so that is very important, but they are really helping a lot to process information and to predict and to, let's say, build a future result of a farm, of a farmer, of a company too. So you can somehow can really understand the risks you will face in the futures and then take decision as soon as possible. So that's for me the best of the AI. You are more efficient and you are processing more information. Okay, but if you don't have very good quality of the information, it doesn't matter, the tool. Okay, so those are the fifth or the five, innovation I see, more strong. Talking about all the markets, okay, all the countries.
Perfect. Thank you for breaking those down. I'm not surprised by any of those at all, as they've been really top of mind as we speak to different candidates and clients. So that was super helpful and a good overview there. And you kind of started to go into it a little bit, but would love to dive a little bit deeper in how the shifts in technology, regulation, and then market demand are reshaping the industry.
I believe it's we are facing a new agriculture. So this is not the same agriculture I studied when I was in the university. It's completely very different. It was shifting in the last 30 years, but in the last 5, 6, let's say 10 years, it was huge, the shift. Okay. And it's coming more and more and more with a very bad context. This is somehow challenge us, to create a new agriculture, a new way to produce food. And that it's something that it's a kind of shift in their mind. You need to start thinking about that in order then to start looking and explore new opportunities and start, people that is producing since the grandpa was producing the same way, okay, probably will delay, the adoption of that and will be a little out in this new agriculture in the future. I don't know when. That's the problem. We don't know when because it's going so fast. But this is a new agriculture. So regulation, market demand, and farmers' economics are very, very important. That will really reshape the industry of today. Regulation, I don't know, biologicals are going fast. The EPA in US, it's switching a little bit in concordance with the USDA. They are categorizing, the biologicals correctly. So they are accelerating a little that. They still have a backlog of a lot of products. Okay, so the offer is still there. But they have a very fast track, so they can regulate a biological in 6 months. So that's why it's something that it should happen. So policies and regulation should really go at the same speed of the industry change. And Europe remains very, very low, unfortunately, and it's probably the region that needs the most the biologicals. So let's see what happens in the future. In market demand, again, consumers are becoming closer of the primary production, let's call, so the farmers. If you go to the fresh food production, they are on top of. Okay, they want to know how it's produced, where it's produced, in which condition, etc. Now it's going, let's say, to the commodity part, so to the row crops one, so the soybean and the corn and those kind of things, they are going back. That is putting a lot of pressure in the CPGs industry. It's putting a lot of pressure in the energy producing, food and oil in a different way, and they need to do it very fast because they have huge commitment in the near future that they are not. Sometimes it feels that they are not really considering that it's just around the corner. They're thinking about 2030, and they say, "Oh, 2030 for us is like wow, very far away." But in agriculture, it's just 5 seasons, 4 now. So we have 4 years, 4 shots, okay, to do that. So it's not so far away. It's very around the corner. So I don't know if they are really on top of that, but of course that really helps in the incentives or in the new streams of revenue for farmers that could really help farmers. So farmers, instead of thinking about yield only, they need to switch and start thinking about profitability, because even if the commodity prices are very low, these kind of new revenues can help to compensate that if they are producing as the market is demanding. And the farmers' economic, as I already told you, if they are replacing products that are very expensive, like fertilizers, synthetic fertilizers, for sure they have a very good, let's say, lane of work to become better in the economics, plus the incentives.
We appreciate you listening to the Charles Aris podcast. For even more valuable insights in the agriculture industry and other recruiting trends, don't miss out on additional Charles Aris blogs and newsletters, which can be accessed via the link in the description. Absolutely. That's super great insights there. So thank you for breaking that down. And just continuing with talking about changes, what role does talent and leadership play in helping companies adapt to these changes?
Wow, good question. I think we are with this kind of multiple lane of work or innovation or that this new agriculture is bringing to us. I think the generalist, way to lead is something that it's very important today, more than the specialist. I think in some place of the leadership should have that kind of connecting the dot, view. If not, it will be overwhelmed and people will not take a very correct decisions. So with all the tools, AI and those things, you can somehow predict at least some scenarios, or you can build different scenarios and take decision. But for doing that, you need to choose the correct input into the AI or into the algorithms. Choosing the correct input is more a generalist point of view, in my opinion, than a specialist. We need a specialist to discover new technology, but we need someone more, let's say, strategic and connected the dot profile. Of course, we need to stop dreaming. Okay, it's not good ideas we'll have every time. I all the time see companies saying, "Hey, we can do this, we can do that." Yeah, of course we can do it, but we not even started with the first one and you are thinking about the 25th. So that's not great. You need to be very efficient, because if not, you will be overwhelmed or completely lost. And also, I think that this is something that I can kind of say I defend a lot, is you need to be very customer centric. Okay, you need to be farmer centric and build bottom up. Farmers are taking a lot of decisions. It's not your product the only decision is taking, or your technology or your innovation. Let's say that a row crop farmer is taking from 150 to 200 decisions every single season, and one of them is your product or your innovation or your services or your tool. So you need to keep in mind that. You need to keep in mind what farmers are, let's say, struggling today, and how you can add value when you are creating the value proposition of your innovation. If not, it will be very difficult. So a deeply knowledge about the farmer's business, a deeply knowledge about the context farmers are facing every single year, it's very, very important. Sometimes in big companies, it's very difficult to focus on that. But when you're thinking about change, or let's say driving this change into a new agriculture, mid-sized company or startups cannot have that problem. So they need to be very, very efficient and very farmer-centric. If not, it will be very difficult, or a lot of innovation will fail into the market when they go to the market.
That's great advice. And it's always interesting, people coming into the industry that maybe never have been in ag before, don't have an agriculture background. Just go to the farmer and you're going to learn a lot. So that's a really great.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. I've been talking with several startups that are not coming from the ag business, and I was amazed how far away they are of the market and the farmer's reality. So my huge advice is go deeply onto that, talk with farmers, as you said, and ask specialists, people who's really open to help and to really people that are very innovator, are very willing to help and say, hey, this is something that could fix a problem, so let's do it.
Absolutely. You've referenced the term new agriculture a couple of times, and I love that because I think you're absolutely right. So what advice would you give to organizations trying to stay competitive in this evolving environment or this new agriculture?
Yeah, well, something already I mentioned. So first, be farmer centric. So farmer centric, it's not only push, the innovation outward. It's more make sure that it's reducing the risk of the decision farmers are taking. So normally farmers are considering three. If I need to split in three, lanes of risk, the first one will be the agronomic, and the second one will be economic and financial, and the third one will be emotional, like oh, there is a new disease, there is no product. Oh, we need to do something else. So that's emotional. Or let's go green. Okay, that could be another emotional. Or let's do something to leave the farm for the next generation. So those are more emotional. The second one is the economical and financial risk that with this context of higher costs and lower commodity prices, is a risk. And the other one is the agronomic, that is normally where most of the innovation are focused, are in let's help in the best agronomic. Let's fix the disease. Let's help in the increasing the the microbiome, inside the soil. That is great. It's very important. But if you don't consider the other two, okay, probably you will be a little in a biased situation and you will lose opportunities. So everything you do in those three, being farmer centric, reducing the risk in the agronomic, operational perspective, in the financial economics, and in the emotional one, you will be adopted for sure. The second one is ecosystem thinking. Okay, you cannot be isolated today. It's so complex, and the new agriculture is so, let's say, challenging, that you need to make partnerships. Okay, being alone, it will be very, very, very tough and very expensive at the same time. So I think becoming a partners in these new ecosystems could be a new way or a new business model, and that should be analyzed. Okay, the other one could be impact measurement. So measure what it matters. Don't measure anything else. So sometimes when you are so product centric, you just measure what your product can really increase and forget the other measures that probably farmers are looking for to improve. Okay. So, and not only yield. The new agriculture is not only yield. And I know every time you talk with farmers, they are asking for yield. I know it's been like that since almost 30 years. But I think it's part of the education we need to expand. We need to put more time and effort in education, explaining what this new agriculture is. So I don't know. Staying competitive is about recognizing the farmers are at the front line, and if they don't adopt, nothing will happen.
Absolutely. That's really great advice. So now we have some fun questions. We're going to do a
Okay.
quick little speed round. So I've got 5 fun questions here. So the first one is, what is your favorite book?
Oh my gosh. Should be one only.
It's hard to pick, isn't it?
Yeah, I spend most of my time reading more anthropologies or spiritual books. So because I believe in the develop the wisdom, then the technical part will come by just experience and studying. So I can tell you the three. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Sapiens and Homo Deus from Yuval Noah Harari are two books I truly recommend. It's a sequence, so it's just one, okay? It's a
Okay,
sequence
there you go.
because that it's kind of the history of we as a human and how we were adopting innovations since religion, since money, since where the money is coming from, and those kind of things. So it's very cool because it gives you a very good perspective of how we think when we are innovating. The second one it's called In Praise of Freedom. That is inner freedom. It's not the freedom everybody talks. It's more within. I really recommend this if you want to explore into a very good debate between the philosophy, Buddhism, and psychiatry or psychology. There are three friends that talk into a mountain. They spend a couple of days into a cabin in a mountain discussing about the same topics, but with three kind of, angles. Okay. It's very cool. I really like that. And the one who changed my life, I can tell you, is the Present Process by Michael Brown, a South African guy. That is very deep and very tough. But I think if you want to make something different about your life, that's the way to start.
Okay, perfect. I'll have to
Too
check
deep.
those
Too,
out.
too deep. Sorry for that. Nothing
No,
about
that's
agronomy.
okay. No, those sound like some great recommendations. So appreciate that. What is your favorite go-to productivity hack?
A couple of years ago, I decided to change a little bit my habits. So I start every morning at 6:30, 6 a.m. I spend a lot of time meditating, visualizing, and after that, I spend a lot of time thinking about how I can do whatever I'm doing in a different way. Challenge myself somehow, asking all the time, if what I'm doing is the correct way to do it or if there is another way. And then I focus on getting all the tasks, as soon as possible during the morning. So I have the afternoon more to spend time, of course, to create things or for myself.
Awesome. If you were in your current role in building your business, what would you do, or what is your dream job?
From personal perspective, anything that will help people, anything that will help people to thrive, I will put everything on myself on doing that. Unfortunately, today, well, I cannot find that it's are not that kind of lane of life is not paying the bills. But if I could, yeah, definitely I will spend my whole life helping people to thrive. I do that a lot in my country. That Argentina is a very poor country, so I'm helping a lot there. But yeah, everything that is helping people really enlighten me.
That's really cool. And I'm sure you're helping more than you think you are. So that's really cool.
I hope so.
Just a couple more. Is there
Okay.
one leadership trait that you value the most?
Empathy. When you study a lot and we read a lot about this kind of empathy or soft, let's say, skills, um, you need to really define what is empathy. Okay. So be empathic is not just only understand what's the problem or what's the challenge the other side have or has, but also feel what they are feeling. Okay. So I always say, I don't know, there is a phrase in Spanish that is saying, in order to you put the shoes of the other person first, you need to take out yours. If you don't take out yours, it's very difficult to put the other ones. Okay. It's something physics. So when they say, hey, you need to put the shoes of the other person first, you need to take out yours. So empathy, I think it's very important.
That's a great one for sure. Last one to round us out. What is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Whew. Uh, take more risks. I think I took risk too late. Yeah, take more risk, fail. More successful people fail more than they win. Failing is the best way to learn. That is a cliche, I know, but it's I fail more times than I win. And I think if you start early, the risk you face is lower than when you are grown up, when you grown up already, when you have kids. That is my case, and those kind of things. So yeah, take more risk.
Awesome. Great advice. This has been a very deep speed round, and I've gotten a lot from it. So I really appreciate it. And just overall, this has been a really great and insightful conversation. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. So I really appreciate you, Nico, for joining us and sharing your perspectives and all of your insights in the industry. So if folks listening want to connect with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, the best way is sending an email, like a info at the netzero.ag. That it's the best way to reach me. And of course, our webpage is www.thenetzero.ag. So I think that's the best way to reach me. You can find me on LinkedIn, no problem. And yeah, reach me. I love to chat. I love to understand what's your challenge and try to help you.
Well, thank you again, Nico, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to check out our other episodes from Industry Uncovered series. I'm Kacey Toews with Charles Aris Executive Search, and you can always find us online at charlesaris.com. Thank you.